Here is any difference between Brutal and SE2 or just skins? They are basically entirely different races. There's a big difference. They're similar. I mean, there are some similarities, I guess, but I would say because of how starkly different they are, I would say they're similar only in name. That's it, really. There's a lot to get into, but regardless, we're jumping into our final series of the night. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of ReBellioN, we have our South Korean Protoss player, the pink Protoss. SE2 Protoss, it is Ateshi. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Brutal Protoss, it is ReBellioN. And if you're in the chats, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will take the series. Best of luck in the chat. And I think the best way to actually see the difference between two races is the mirror matchup. I think that's probably the best way. We already saw the PvP earlier, but there's just such a different dynamic between them. The Brutal Protoss race is a lot more immobile. The reason for this is, one, there's no recall, two, there's no Blink Stalkers. Without Blink Stalkers, without recall, it is a little bit more difficult. If your opponent is hyper aggressive, they can pull you apart. It can be more difficult to keep up if your opponent has map control and has momentum. But we'll see what direction our players do take us in. As initially, it's going to be a 2-gate opener for ReBellioN, likewise 2 gateways for Ateshi as well. So far, so good. Both players just trying to get a read on each other's pylon production or pylon placements. Make sure there's no proxy. There is no setup. As the second pylons are scattered, are confirmed. Upon seeing this, I mean, they should be aware that there's no proxy Robo, there's no proxy Stargate. Nothing wild yet. Oh, ooh, nice pickup. A Zealot has arrived. Probe goes down. Ateshi's now in the dark. But ReBellioN will expand. Okay, so he's setting up to expand, opening up a double Dragoon. Meanwhile, Ateshi opening up double Stalker. Does open up double Stalker. We see ReBellioN rushing into Dragoon range, so far committing into Dragoon production. Meanwhile, we do see Ateshi opening up Robo, not Twilight Council. Now this should be for Immortal production. Very safe way to play here in PvP. Assuming he doesn't throw down extra gateways and go for a 1-base all-in, which is still on the table. He could just throw down a 3rd and 4th gateway, go for a Warp Prism into Immortal, and just commit. We're not out of the woods yet. ReBellioN has expanded, going for his natural. And, okay, we are not throwing down extra gateways. Ateshi is expanding. Okay, we have confirmation, and so does ReBellioN. He dips in, he scouts, he confirms the Nexus. So ReBellioN, he can rest easy. Does poke in, using the Zealot to tank some shots. We'll pull away. Oh! We'll get a bit of hull damage done on some of these Stalkers. Does nibble away at them. Oh, nice pickoffs here from ReBellioN. Doesn't get any kills, but he does soften up the Stalkers. We'll pull back for now, waiting for Dragoon range to finish. And he does throw down extra gateways. Again, for now, committing to Mass Dragoon. Meanwhile, we spoke about the Robo opener for Ateshi, and it's for the Immortal. So it is Immortal first. We see that, at least, especially with ranged Dragoons, they can try to bully these Stalkers, but with the help of the Immortal, we can tank some shots, we can shut down the Dragoons a little bit harder, a little bit faster. Ooh, Dragoon goes down. And we do have that Sentry follow-up. Now, if you were here at the start of the broadcast, if you were here for the previous PvP, you'd know how powerful Sentries are in the StarCraft 2 versus Brutal matchup. Again, as you mentioned before, without Blink, Sentries and Force Fields, they completely slice up a Dragoon army. It's insane. And that's why we're warping in additional Sentries. Now, at the time, we were theorizing like a way to counter that, because Ateshi basically went for not a pure Sentry army, but like half the gateway units were Sentries in the mid-game, with just purely Force Fields just kind of dominating the fights. And we were theorizing, oh, maybe it's worth for the Brutal Protoss to invest into Archons to be able to break the Force Fields. But we can see that instead we're taking towards Reavers. The Bay is on the way, Shuttle as well. We are working towards Reaver drops. Meanwhile, Ateshi building up his Immortal Stalker army. War Prism's on the way. And there's that shuttle speed as well. So again, Reaver drops are on the horizon. Bearing in mind, though, that of course, once the Pink Protoss player gets into a more mobile army, they can also try to shut that down. Oh no! Feels bad, man. As ReBellioN, he maintains control of the center of the map, forcing back Ateshi. Catching the first Immortal. Ooh, massive pickup. No! The Immortal and the War Prism go down. Massive pickups here for ReBellioN. And Ateshi will lose map control. Has to pull back, has to pull away. The Reavers are coming. About to pop out. Can reinforce the main army. Third base being taken as well. And Ateshi has to back off. And you can see, again, he's committing to a heavy sentry-based army, which can work well, but after losing the Prism and the Immortal, he's stuck at home. More sentries. Let's go. More force fields. Reaver's moving out. And Ateshi's moving in. Now his move out is spotted by the probe. ReBellioN is aware. Getting in position. The Reaver will not be at home to defend. Bear that in mind. It's moving out to harass. Which means Ateshi, he might be able to break this third. Not just the third, but break the natural. As he has not expanded. Yeah, 2 base all in from Ateshi. Only with 1 Immortal though. Imagine this army with 2 Immortals. Does force field, does lock down the Dragoons. Oof. Yeah, 4 Dragoons get locked down. Meanwhile, Reaver across the map gets 6 probe kills. Nice damage. But again, this is the power of the force field. Is pushing in still. Decent chunk of Dragoons. Oh! 2 more get locked down. But again, with 1 more Immortal, this could have been so much more potent. As he's slowly pushing forward, gaining more ground. ReBellioN pulling back to his natural. Oof. Another Dragoon gets caught, but we're running out of force fields. You could argue that was a little bit wasteful. Yeah, Ateshi running out of force fields. Dragoons, they come in from behind. Going for the War Prism. And where are the reinforcements? Ateshi, he has a bank. He has 800, 900 minerals. But where the warp ins? Boys are being pulled, and ReBellioN, he holds. He holds, he shuts down the army, forces the recall. And what is at home to defend? Remember, probes are going down earlier because of the Reaver. ReBellioN, he may have lost his natural base, but ReBellioN, he still has a worker lead. He's ahead. ReBellioN has a better economy. He has a larger army. And Ateshi was all in. Ateshi was completely all in. Now he has to expand, but he has a lot of recovering to do. He had a lot of probing. A lot of probing to do as he has to build up his worker count again. He has to rebuild his army. It was all or nothing for the Pink Protoss. And he was trading well. As we saw, like, he was gaining ground. But without reinforcements, without his gas income, without his warp-ins, he ran out of steam. And now ReBellioN should run away with this. Should be able to run away with this. There are ways to come back, definitely, when it comes to like a War Prism counterattack, or Dark Templar, or Disruptors. There are ways to come back, of course. But there's a lot of pressure on Ateshi. A lot of pressure. So he does rotate around. ReBellioN just establishing his third. Storm is on the way. Let's go. We'll be getting into some Archon production as well. Ateshi dropping into the main. Going for some Adept Harass. Does warp in at the third as well, trying to distract and pull ReBellioN apart. Probes are going to go down. Oh, but they're on A move. Okay, there we go. Does get 3 workers so far. Getting up to 4 probe kills, almost a High Templar. Oh, he wants it. Doesn't quite get it. Casito. Adepts, they do get 5, 6. Oh my god, 6 probes. 6 probes go down. Adepts, they keep going in. They keep getting more damage. And ReBellion's just going for a counterattack. He's had enough. He's had enough. Also, I apologize for some of the frame drops. The frames are dropping. Did notice. And ReBellioN, he may be losing workers back at home, but he doesn't care. He's going for the all-in. Well, he's going for the kill. Takes down the third, and he can keep pushing. Can keep pushing. Backs off for now. Rotates. Looking for another way in. That's going to be 4 Immortals to defend. They're getting caught out. Oh my god, Reaver shots going up. And the Immortals are getting picked off. Massive connection here on the Zealots. And GG gets called. ReBellioN will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. He will take the first game. Again, Ateshi, he was so committed with his... Again, it was basically a 2-base all-in with Mass Sentry, Stalker, Immortal. But remember, early on, I do think it was a pivotal moment when Ateshi lost his first Immortal and when he lost his first War Prism as well. Like, those were some massive pickoffs when they went down in the center of the map. That delayed the push. That also did kind of soften or did hinder the push as well. Meant that there wasn't that much less firepower with the main army. And GG. GG, well played. ReBellioN held. And now we're getting ready for game number 2. Game number 2. It's going to be on Citadel. The 4-player map. 4-player map. Let's go. Why can't they turn disruptors into Reavers? I would imagine, like, real talk, I would imagine that the StarCraft 2 team most likely would want to avoid that sort of thing. I'm referring to not just a Reaver, but like Reavers, Defilers, Goliaths. Like Terran players have been asking for Goliaths for so long as well. I feel like to keep the identity of StarCraft, I don't think they're too keen on like just removing like the Thor and replacing it with Goliaths, or removing the Disruptor and replacing it with Reavers, like, and just implementing brutal units. I don't think that's necessarily something that they're too interested in. Even if you could like make an argument that that might be better, I feel like to keep the identity of SE2 separate from Brood War, I don't think that's something that they would budge on necessarily. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? As we're now getting into, or like replacing like the Cyclone with the Vulture or something like that. But we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Citadel, we have the pink Protoss player from South Korea. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back. It is Ateshi. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the blue Protoss player, the Brutal Protoss from South Korea. Leading the series, it is ReBellioN. We go. As once again, we are loading into a 4-player spawn map. Also, I do apologize. I just realized that I did not change the nameplates of Ateshi in game, so I do apologize. I will fix that now for game 2. So that's my bad. That's my bad. Bam. There we go. As Ateshi does scout horizontally, does confirm the location of ReBellioN. Ateshi is aware. Based on how fast the scout was, I think ReBellioN can kind of piece together, can deduce where his opponent has spawned in. And there we go. The probe does move out, and he should be scouting on the right-hand side. So ReBellioN should soon confirm as well. As ReBellioN does go for a gate expand, economic opener here from our red Protoss player. Likewise, same can be said for our pink Protoss as well. So both players open up economically, just gate expands. No crazy aggression this early on. Not yet. So both players being greedy makes sense on a large map like this. And we'll see where this takes us. We go, as ReBellioN is working towards, once again, the similar builds. Once again, we have ReBellioN playing Brood War and Ateshi playing SE2. So working towards those Dragoons. Yo, the way the Zealot walks feels so weird, because I don't know if you notice, whenever the Zealot walks, the side blades are on, like, they're sheathed. It just looks so weird. Like, ay. Feels brutal as Zealot, man. Like, he's just going for a stroll. But he's walking with purpose. There's just something about the Zealot walking around with, like, sheathed blades. It's just odd. Regardless, Zealot does 4, gets 2 probe kills, not bad. Does get some economic damage. Just one of those little things that looks a bit odd. So do have our follow-up. This time, for the first time, we see Ateshi not going for a Robo, going for a Twilight Council instead. I imagine going for a Blink-based opener. Yep, there we go. Blink is on the way. Going for something more mobile instead. Going for Mass Blink Stalker. Meanwhile, from the side of ReBellioN, interesting. Likewise, taking up a little bit faster here into a Forge for upgrades into a Citadel of Adu. As Adept does shade in, just going to be 1 Adept. Ooh, does take down 1 Worker, but just the 1. 1 Probe goes down. With this, of course, we can unlock Charge. But likewise, ReBellioN can also invest into a more heavy gateway composition. Speaking of Charge, yep, there it is. Charge is on the way. So we're going for a gateway army versus a gateway army. Dragoon Charge Lot versus Blink Stalker. ReBellioN is moving out. Does waddle across. Sentries are ready. So is the shield battery. Sapphire Ateshi holding on. Ooh, takes a lot of hits. Takes a lot of damage. Bearing in mind, range for the Dragoon is done. And they do pick away the first shield battery. Uh-oh. So far, good control here by ReBellioN. Poking in. Takes down the shield battery. Takes down a pylon as well. And Ateshi's just being bullied back. Waiting for Blink. Ooh. Does pick off 1 more sentry. We'll maybe get a Dragoon. Oh, Dragoon goes down. And Ateshi holds. Ateshi does hold. Did lose a lot in the process, but nothing game-ending. Does survive. Blink is now finished. Now finishing up. And we can settle in. Again, just throwing down additional gateways. That's going to be a 6-gate setup here on 2 bases. That's a lot of gateways. Meanwhile, ReBellioN working towards Charge Lots and Archons. As the Temple Archives is on the way. Going for a Ninja expansion. Oh my god. ReBellioN, calm down. I'm very concerned actually for ReBellioN because we have more gates. Like, more gates are being thrown down. There's going to be a lot of Blink Stalkers, and ReBellion's being too greedy. ReBellioN is taking into Storm or taking into High Templar. He's getting a 3rd base. He's not making Dragoons, and with that, he's being overwhelmed. That may just be game. The Stalkers, they blink in. They take down 2 more Dragoons. 1 barely escapes. And ReBellion's being caught with his pants down, just being far too greedy, taking up, expanding, not making units. If we had a War Prism, I do feel like Ateshi could actually break this position. But without a War Prism, you can see it takes a while for the reinforcements to arrive. So ReBellioN, can he hold? Can he survive? It's not going to be easy. Not going to be easy here. Cannons are denied. Zell's taking a lot of hits. Oh, do you have a Dark Templar? No detection. No shot. The hero DT? He forces everything back. No detection. Observer's on the way. The Dark Templar. He holds. Oh my god. The hero DTs, which means ReBellioN, he gets away with the 3rd. It's already done. Now he can start saturating. Ateshi's just now going to be expanding. DT's forcing this back. Now there is the Observer. Dark Templar gets eyes on the would-be 3rd. ReBellioN is going to just be transferring over. Rallying across. TT is still being kept in the back line. Has yet to pull the trigger. Whew, and we can take a moment. We can take a breath. We can calm things down. Again, ReBellioN, he held. He can now saturate his 3rd base. He can now embrace Storm. +2 is on the way alongside Storm. Archons. Anything and everything. As the Dark Templar does reveal itself. Again, just keeping Ateshi busy. Is cleaned up. And unfortunately, Ateshi hasn't teched. He's still only going purely Blink Stalker. He has not teched into his own Char Shots, his own Archons. He's not teched into Disruptors, for example. Speaking of, there we go. Second Robo when a Bay is on the way. Did cancel this. Oh, never mind. Okay. A little bit indecisive. He was working towards Disruptors, but now looks to go into Archon instead. Working towards Charged Archon. Regardless, whether it's Disruptor or Archons, it feels a little bit late. Feels a little bit delayed here for Ateshi, and I'm a little bit concerned that ReBellion's just going to be able to outpace him, but we'll see. As the armies are about to clash. Oh. Going for that Templar. Oh, does not quite get the snipe. Storm zones away. High Templar does survive. It's going to be how many High Templar? 4. 4 High Templar so far. The base is scouted. Ateshi is aware. He's going for a slow drop. Oh, sorry, for a slow lot drop into the main. Cells have arrived. Your ReBellioN, he wants to dive on the main army. Chases it back for now. The drop does depower some of these gateways. I believe Ateshi is now aware of the expansion. He did spot the cannon. Goes back into the main, going for a warp in. Other reinforcements back at home. Main armies once again clashing. High Templar survive. And Ateshi, even though he doesn't commit, even though he doesn't break any base, he's at least getting away with his tech. Again, Charge is finishing up. He's working towards some Archon production as well. He'll get there. Another massive warping into the main. Some of it out of vision. Dragoon's getting caught out. There is detection as well from Ateshi. At the same time, main army's going to be clashing the Storms though. Oh my god. Storms, they keep back the Stalkers. It's not something you often see. Storm versus Blink Stalker. As ReBellioN expanding towards top left. Again, he's like skipping expansions. Like, it's crazy. Like, ReBellioN going for, like, he's skipping bases, which makes it that much harder to scout. Going for top left. Stalkers, they will go for the third. ReBellioN coming in from behind. Out of position. Ateshi doesn't commit. He scouts, he's looking for another base. He finds none. Does he go up the ramp? Up! He doesn't. Now he has to into the cannons. We'll be able to focus them down. Does get one at least. The other cannon adds some DPS. Does help. Does force a recall. Yo, the flanking cannons. Crazy. Meanwhile, Zella warping into the main. Getting into the production. No major damage, but he does get a gateway. Does get a couple of pylons. Does force back the army. Okay, we mentioned this before, but there is no recall. I mean, not without Arbiters, I should emphasize. So his production, ReBellioN, he is struggling a little bit here, pushing through the center. Archon goes down. ReBellioN bleeding out some units. Yeah, bleeding out key units here. Oof, another Archon falls. Back at home, the Zelts are still not cleaned up. ReBellioN now turning back around. He has to. This is getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand here. But it looks like finally Ateshi's going to be forced out, but the Warp Prism is still alive. And again, this is just buying time for Ateshi to establish his third and now work towards a fourth. A pretty exposed fourth base, but also kind of out of the way. ReBellioN has not confirmed. Ateshi gets ready for another Zealot run by, another Zealot drop. ReBellioN keeping up with the main army rotations. He does find the Stalkers. Not bad. Forcing them back. Reinforcements on the way. Zealot drop once again into the main. Zealot towards the third, and ReBellioN, he doesn't care. He commits. Does commit across the map, but we have a wall of Archons and Immortals. Yeah, Ateshi's ready for this. At least he's hoping to be. Do you have a couple of Storms? Overcharge gonna get popped. Ateshi's holding. Meanwhile, across the map, 6 probe kills, third base is forfeit. Warping into the main. Ooh, the Prism is going to be targeted. The Prism finally goes down. Warp Prism gets cleaned up, but you can see Ateshi does take a supply lead. Yeah, and he does get a kill as well, just pulling ReBellioN apart. ReBellioN, I mean, the War Prism, I should say, was the MVP of this game. Just non-stop harassing the main at the third, back and forth. The Natural going to be exposed. The army's pushing in. ReBellion's trying to race back. Coming in from behind. Do you get some decent storms? But this Death Ball of an army, it looks a little bit too strong here. A couple of Archons going down. The Dragoons, they're trying to hold their own. We get the full surround. Stalkers, they come in from behind. And ReBellion's being cleaned up. He just cannot keep up. GG gets called, and Ateshi ties up the series 1-1. We are going to the ace match. GG. A very chaotic game number 2. Again, ReBellioN was getting away with some expansions. That's true. He was getting away with taking into Storm, if you remember. He was being quite greedy, and Ateshi almost punished him, but he did get away with that greed. We saw him get away with that DT defense, able to survive with the bare minimum. But last he was torn apart by the War Prism harass, Zealot run-bys. Was having a hard time keeping up with the movements of the main army as well. And eventually he was kind of forced into that attack, into his push. A push that Ateshi was ready for. Was ready for it. With that, GG well played, we are going to game 3. Let's go. Let us go. It's just catching up with the chat. It's Zeratul, but true. Zeratul himself. For hire. Didn't win the game, but did keep it going. Did keep ReBellioN in it. It's not safe to run around with scissors. Zealot practice safety. True. Brood War Zealots, they're a little bit more responsible, right? They're a little bit more responsible, you know. They don't want to hurt anyone unnecessarily. True. But here we go, we're getting into the ace match, one of the more wild and chaotic maps out there. We're going to be loading into Monty Hall. Oh boy. And we have yet to properly experience a macro game on this map, and that may continue to be the case. I don't know if we're going to get there. We'll see us spawning in the top left-hand corner of Monty Hall. We have our South Korean Protoss player, the Pink Protoss, tying up the series, forcing the ace match. It is Ateshi. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Brutal Protoss player, the Red Protoss from South Korea. It is ReBellioN. And let me just quickly set up the nameplate. I got you. Beautiful. Bam. There we go. We have our PVZ. Oh my god, ReBellioN mining out every single patch. Okay. Does mine out all the mineral patches, is moving out for his scouts. Likewise, we do see Ateshi scouting towards the bottom left. You can see ReBellioN just fanning out all his probes. And we'll see how he does open up. ReBellioN going Nexus first. Crazy. Nexus before Gateway. This is as greedy as you can get in PvP. So Nexus before Gates. Sorry, Nexus even into Forge before Gateway. Aye. Very greedy build here by ReBellioN. And Ateshi, he will confirm, does get eyes on the Forge at least. And will then get eyes on the expansion momentarily. Likewise, ReBellioN moving out. He can go for some pylon blocks. Actually, proxying the main. He's crazy. Cannon rush? No shot. He's cannon rushing. The Forge is done. Nexus first into Cannon Rush. Let's go. The pylon is finishing, and he's going to be able to try to get within range of the gas. There we go. First cannon's on the way. ReBellioN, calm down. I mean, he's distracting with the pylon block. True. He is distracting. Ateshi otherwise preoccupied. Ooh, he scouts though. He was about to mine through the minerals on the right hand side. Cannons are on the way. Probe gets surrounded. Ooh, probe does fall. And the cannon will finish. But how many probes does he bring down before it falls? It's gonna be 1, it's gonna be 2, not too many though. 3 probe kills. Only 3 workers. Alas, Ateshi will defend. That's a lot of lost mine time, true. A lot of lost mine time, but he will survive. He will shut this down. But he's still on 1 base. I could be mistaken, but I think like part of the cannon rush as well, not just to lay siege upon the gases, but also to try and delay the expansion. As ReBellioN is heavily delaying the Nexus. Back at home, getting saturated, building up. Additional gateways on the way, Cybercore as well. Now finally, Ateshi can expand. And the question becomes, was that worth it? That's the real question. Because we do see that ReBellioN lost 2 workers in the process. And a cannon and a pylon. Does delay the expansion, but I'm sure Ateshi's going to do his best to try to punish him. For now, just working with stalkers. I mean, there's no tech until now. Twilight Council's on the way. This should be for Blink, but I mean, technically Dark Shrine is also going to be available here as well. To go into DTs. ReBellioN just fortifying himself. Dragoon range on the way. And I do feel like ReBellioN, he should be able to get away with this. I don't see any aggression moving out anytime soon. The Dragoon Council looking quite healthy for ReBellioN as well. I almost forgot, but of course you have to mine through these minerals to break out. There we go. So that she has access to his own natural. Meanwhile, unlike the previous game, ReBellioN, instead of going for a faster Citadel, is going for a faster Robo. And this should be leading into shuttle play, into Reaver drops. I mean, it does work that much better on this map just because of the terrain. The terrain is, I mean, it can be quite difficult for a ground-based army to keep up with something like a shuttle. I mean, we saw BCs pop off earlier today as well in the TBT. In saying that, I mean, that's where Blink comes into play. Right, a ground army can struggle, but Blink Stalkers, I mean, they can even blink over these walls, or at least blink past the mineral patches and try to punish the shuttle itself. So risky maneuver by ReBellioN, very risky. We'll see if he can make this work. Dragoons move out. So far just nibbling away at the energy on the shield battery. Oh! As one of the Stalkers takes a lot of hull damage, so does the other. Then she has to pull back. Shuttle's about to pop out. And ReBellioN will soon be embracing that Reaver production. So the Reaver is on the way. Setting up for a third as well. Do love to see it. Meanwhile, Blink is done. There's 4 gateways behind this. 4 gate Blink Stalkers from Ateshi. Proxy Pylon as well to reinforce. Uh-oh. Ateshi is committing. But he's pushing into a brick wall. We have shield batteries. We have a cannon. A solid wall of Dragoons. Ateshi retreats. Setting up his own Robo for his own Immortal production. Getting a proxy gateway ready to reinforce. Does Ateshi expand, or does he commit on 2 bases? He's throwing down extra gateways. And oh, actually going for a forge. Okay. He's looking at macro. Taking extra gases. The forger +1 is going to come into play much later. Ateshi blinking over the wall, rotating towards the center. Does blink over. Is spotted by the observer. Big scout here for ReBellioN. He won't be able to expand. Third base is denied. So nice rotation from the pink Protoss. Taking his own third behind this. Stalker's moving out. Dragoons are ready. The shuttle is still waiting for the Reavers. We're getting there. ReBellioN attempting to expand right next to the proxy. Ateshi, he can just rotate over. Does need vision of the other side of the wall, unfortunately. There we go. He will get it. Oh! Warping is denied. Stalkers have arrived. And here come the Reavers. A Reaver shot's going to be going off. Shuttle does survive. One volley away from going down. ReBellioN has to take a breath. Stalker's back up. Behind this, just doubling down on gateway production. ReBellioN does break out. He's got 2 Reavers. Got plenty of Scarabs ready. Can he break through? Oh! Shuttle goes down! Shuttle does fall. The Reavers are going to be targeted as well. They get a lot of shots off. Oh my god. And the Stalkers, they melt before the Reaver shots. Reavers go down, but they did their damage. And can ReBellioN still break through? It's still a brutal choke point. With the defender's advantage, Ateshi does hold. His third base getting saturated. It's getting there. And ReBellioN has to back off and rebuild that. To the prison, rebuild the shuttle, rebuild the Reavers. Second Robo's on the way. And again, of course, that's the downside of like Shuttle Reaver in PvP, is the Blink Stalkers, like they can punish you quite hard. The shuttle isn't as versatile as the Warp Prism. Not quite. When it comes to like the pickup range, I mean. Fun fact, there was a patch actually, I want to say like 3 weeks ago, there was a recent patch which did increase the pickup range of the shuttle. I think to 2. I think it was at 1, increased to 2 or something like that. It wasn't too big. It's still not as large as a Warp Prism, but they did increase it. Did happen recently. To 2.5, I think. Yeah, something like that. So once again, Ateshi does rotate. He denies the 4th base. Forces a cancel. Once again, ReBellioN having a hard time keeping up. Again, we spoke about... Oh my god, sorry, goes down. I thought that was a shuttle for a moment. But we spoke about this. Again, the StarCraft 2 Protoss player does have mobility on their side. That is their advantage. But ReBellioN did establish his 3rd. He's building back up, investing into additional Reavers, additional shuttles. In a head-on fight, when there are no shield batteries involved, I do think I want to favor ReBellioN. But it's on Ateshi to avoid that head-on fight, to force the army back home, to pick up some key units, like the Reavers or like these bases. Just play hit and run until he can build up himself and get into his immortal count. Or disruptors. For now, it's immortal. No disruptor production yet. I wouldn't be opposed to it, especially considering that it's hard. It's that much more difficult to avoid Novas. As the Reaver drop does move in, it's so exposed. The first Reaver goes down. Get out of here! Why are we here? Aye. One Reaver falls, the other will escape. Does get out. Yo, Ateshi, he wants it. He wants the Reaver. Oh my god. He's on the hunt. At the same time, going for a counterattack. Will deny the 4th once again. The shuttle goes down. Yeah, the shuttle is found. That's 2 Reavers falling. Massive pickups. Ateshi's all over this. Gets the 4th, gets 2 Reavers, main army pushes out. Bearing in mind though, Ateshi's main army split. He has most of his army towards the south, some of his forces here towards the north. His army is split, he cannot fight head on. Does he recall? Does he recall back home? Or does he commit and go for a base trade? No shot he runs back home. That'd be, oh my god. He could actually try to come in from behind. Oh, a little bit indecisive. Yeah, there's some indecision. There's the recall. Recalls half his army. Trying to hold on. The other half does commit. Army blinks in, takes down the prism, takes down the shuttle. And the Immortals, they can go ham. Dragoons, they have to kite back. Ateshi not quite blinking into the main. Does pull back, but at least he holds. Ateshi, he holds on. He sniped all the Reavers. And he pulls back. I do think there was potential for him to go into the main base, but he thought better of it. Pulls back instead. Maybe he was just a little bit concerned that he wouldn't have the attention to focus at 2 places at once. Speaking of, ReBellioN is double expanding. One of the bases is spotted. Stalker counterattack is set. ReBellioN pushing right down mid. Uh-oh. And I believe Ateshi has no vision. Yeah, he has no vision here. He doesn't know. Base trade. Stalkers into the main. And Stalkers into the 3rd as well. We're going for the base trade. Let's go. Ateshi turns around, actually. Never mind. He does turn back around. He's racing back home. Recalls on cooldown. Base will fall. Stalkers, they do depower a lot of the gateways. Islands are falling. ReBellioN does commit. Reaver shots coming in. Oh. No major connections yet. We go for the blink. Shuttle falls. Reavers as well. Nice target firing here out of Ateshi. Has the concave in his favor. And ReBellioN, he cannot push into this. Not like this. It's a meat grinder. Oh my god. So many Dragoons fall. And Ateshi, he takes the fight. He blinks on in. He shuts down the Dragoons. And the storm graces the army, but it looks like Ateshi, he will take this. GG gets called. He shuts down the main army. And Ateshi, he will qualify for the SEL Full Championship. GG. GG. GG, well played. I was a little bit concerned that nerves were getting to Ateshi. Again, there was a lot of indecision leading up to towards the end of the game when it came to even earlier the defense. Does he counterattack? Does he recall back home? Does he push? Does he not? It was a really tough position for Ateshi. In the end, he made the tough call to race back home in those final moments, and he was able to take the better fight. He blinked in, he sniped the disruptors. He sniped the Reavers, sniped the shuttles, was able to take the better trade, and GG. GG, well played. Ateshi does take it. My condolences to ReBellioN. Again, I favored ReBellioN coming into this, but it was a very chaotic kind of game state, a very chaotic PvP, and I'm happy to see Ateshi doing well, because he's a player that I'm unfamiliar with. He isn't really active in the SC2 tournament scene. He's mainly active here in StarCraft Evolution, and for him to take down one of the bigger names, one of the better known players, ReBellioN, of course, he's Gyelzing. He's been around for a very, very long time, for many years in StarCraft 2, has kind of been a mainstay when it comes to online tournaments. Will fall at the hands of Ateshi, and Ateshi makes it to the main event. GG. GG, well played. Wish him the best of luck. I hope he's able to refine his play and get ready. The StarCraft Evolution won't be for another couple of weeks. For those that are curious, !B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourselves. If you guys want to have a look at the Wikipedia page yourselves, I should emphasize, as StarCraft Evolution League does begin on the... Let me just double check here. Does begin mid-November, if not mistaken. November 16th. There we go. November 16th. So mid-November is when the group stage does begin. That's in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks' time is the main event. You may be wondering, 2 weeks? That's a long time. What do we have in those 2 weeks? Well, if you want some more StarCraft Evolution, we have another online tournament. We have the StarCraft Evolution bi-weekly tournament. number 6. I believe number 6 is going to be next week. Yep, number 6 is next week. So if you want some more StarCraft Evolution action before the main event, next week we have you covered with the bi-weekly tournament. If you're curious, so there's still one more bi-weekly. Yes, this next bi-weekly will be able to cement and determine seeding for the invites. For those that are curious, there is a big event happening, but in the lead up to the event, there were all these weekly tournaments. They provide points. Depending on your placement in these open cups, they provide points to the players. Players, they accumulate points over time, kind of like EPT in a way. They accumulate these SEL points, and at the end of the season, which ends next week, based on the rankings, they get invited. So there are some big names like Honmono, like 3 Point, like Shin, maybe Classic as well. Basically, our champions and the top players in those online weeklies or online bi-weeklies will be invited. And the final one is next week. So we still need that final weekly to determine those invites, and then we can determine the final players for the championship. Here we go. When it comes to this event, of course, exclamation mark B, to look at the challenge page, we can have a look ourselves. We have our top 4. We have Ateshi, we have Rumieth, we have Quanta, and the STC, 2 Terran players, a Protoss, and a Zerg. Rumieth, of course, the Korean Zerg, Ateshi, the Korean Protoss, we have Quanta and the STC as the Korean Terran players. So, oh my god, purely Korean representation through the qualifier. Shout out to all those competitors, all those that did compete, of course, though. Shout out to players like Boanan, fan favorites. Shout out to ReBellioN, shout out to Satoru, shout out to StarAt, and many other players as well. And again, those that didn't qualify today most likely will be here next week in the Open Cup to try to get that better seeding, to try to get those points and be invited into that main event as well. Here we go. Here we go. ReBellion's fine. No way he loses his point invite. Yeah. Again, there's only 1 weekly left to determine those points. So for the most part, a lot of the seedings, when it comes to the point invites, are kind of locked in. But I'm sure there's still a little bit there's a little bit of wiggle room there when it comes to overall placements, when it comes to seeding and all that stuff. So again, do look forward to it. Go. Just catching up in the chat. But outside of that, I believe we are going to be wrapping up. Also, Avex. Is that Avex? Is that the map maker extraordinaire? I did notice earlier. I think Avex came out of retirement to help out a little bit in SC Evolution. Oh, it's you. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the cast. Hope you enjoyed the content, and thank you so much, Avex. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for StarCraft, not just for StarCraft Evolution, which I do know that you came back for to help out a little bit when it came to you know, making the maps and transferring them over from Brood War and all that stuff. But also thank you for all the work that you've done in years past as well. For those who don't know, Avex is a very renowned map maker from years gone by. Doesn't really make maps for SC2 anymore, but did for a long time. Did do it for a very, very long time. Very passionate member of the community as well. So thank you. Thank you so much, Avex, for all that you've done in the history of StarCraft. Thank you. StarCraft would be worse off without you, to be honest. Very renowned map maker. Thank you. Thank you. He's famous. Oh my god. did a lot for StarCraft. Did a lot. And hey, even helped out here in SC Evo as well. So yeah, good to see you. Otherwise, hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Hope you all had a great time here tonight. Give some love to Avex as well. If you're maybe a little bit newer to the scene, you may not be familiar with him. Again, especially because it's been a couple of years since Avex has dipped his toes into making maps for StarCraft 2. But yeah, big part of the scene, big part of the community. With that, we're going to be wrapping up for the day. Our next broadcast here on the CranKy Ducklings is going to be in less than 24 hours. We're going to be live with the Sparkling Tuna Cup. If you're curious, what the hell is the Sparkling Tuna Cup? I kind of mentioned it before. The STC was playing in this tournament, and basically the Sparkling Tuna Cup originally was a replacement for Alima League. Alima League did eventually, over time, fall by the wayside. It was the longest standing open cup centered around the Korean scene for a very long time as well. And we did start the Sparkling Tuna Cup. Why is it the Sparkling Tuna? It's a reference to Ryung the tuna himself, and also the STC. It's all kind of melded in there into one. But it's our open cup. It's our open cup at a more Korean-friendly time zone, Korean-friendly time slot. Is going to be at 8 p.m. my time, or I believe around 6 p.m. KST. So yeah, that's going to be our next broadcast here on the channel. Speaking of Alima League, it did leave us for a while, but just like how Avex is back, in a form, Avex has returned. So is Alima League. Alima League was recently announced to be returning next week. Next week, Alima League will be returning here to StarCraft 2, not in the same fashion. It won't be on Twitch. It's going to be on the Korean platform of Chiswick. I think it's pronounced Chiswick. You can correct me. And we will be the English casters. We'll be the English commentators for Alima League as well. Again, it won't be on this platform. It'll be on Chiswick. We will be uploading the VODs to YouTube, so don't you worry. VODs will be available on YouTube, but the live broadcast will be over on the Korean streaming platform instead, as they are the main sponsors for Alima League. So great to see the return of that. We're going to be working alongside Ollie, alongside Crank as well. It's really an honor to be a part of Alima League. For a very long time, it was covered by Base Trade and Wardy and Maynard towards the end as well. We were in a way kind of brought up with Crank. Like that's where we started, by Crank's community, Crank's English speaking community. That's why we call the Cranky Ducklings, to pay tribute to Crank. And we were always a part of Alima League, especially early on as well. There's many an Alima League that we all did compete in, that we all played in and signed up for, and it's great to be a part of Alima League in its return as well. Feels good, man, feels good. So we are going to be the official English stream that is going to be over on Chiswick. Otherwise, we have plenty more casting as well this week. We have the Wardy TV Monday, we have Alima League, we have Pigosaur Monday, we have the KSL rebroadcast, the replay cast, because we did miss KSL live, Code for Giants Cup. We have at least one cast every day, usually 2 casts a day. A lot of StarCraft, a lot of content here on the Cranky Ducklings, so do consider following. Plenty of casting here on the channel, plenty more content to come, always on the Cranky Ducklings. I know that October was very light. October, we were casting like 5 days a week. That was very unusual for us. We usually cast every day, multiple times a day, but October was very light. It's the off season, but now we're ramping up. We're ramping up once again, casting as much as we can. All the StarCraft, baby, all the StarCraft. Otherwise, with that, again, you can follow us on all the social medias. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. We do stream on YouTube at the same time, so VODs are available as we speak. VODs are going to be on YouTube, and you can follow us on all the social medias. We post whenever we go live. You can support us on Patreon. You can support us how you wish. Otherwise, a follow is all that we ask of. And we'll see you guys in less than 24 hours for the Sparkling Tuna Cup. See you soon. See you soon. Until then, asa lego. And best of luck to Hyper One with the StarCraft Evolution League. Best of luck. Best of luck with the championship. It's going to be amazing, I'm sure. See you next time. See you next time. Ciao. Papi, ciao. See you next time.